When a wealthy man rejects all, he sees a poor maid, and it's a devastating truth. The clock struck midnight in the opulent house, but the air was thick with tension and whispers. Shadows danced along the walls, hiding secrets and hints of despair. In his lavish study, Gregory Hawthorne sat alone, a glass of aged bourbon trembling in his hand. Wealth surrounded him, but it felt suffocating. He rejected every trinket, every laugh he had once cherished, the echoes of hollow friendships ringing in his ears. It was only now, in this moment of stark isolation, that he truly understood what he'd lost. The strange thud against the window startled him. He peered outside, squinting into the inky darkness, where flickers of street lamps revealed a silhouette under the flickering glow. It was her Mira, the maid, with her deep brown eyes glistening like dark stones under the moonlight. She stood there, drenched but unyielding. There was something different about her, a fire smoldering beneath her seemingly fragile exterior. The ragged dress clung to her, but it was the way she held herself that caught his breath, a defiant spirit unbroken by the world. Every night, he spilled his heart to empty walls, drowning in regret. But that night, a curious thrill jolted him at the sight of Mira's fierce gaze, and his heart pounded like thunder. Was it worth noting that he had hardly spoken 10 words to her? The world outside his gilded cage felt alive, vivid colors blending with the weight of startling emotions he hadn't felt in years. Before we continue, I need to tell you something important that's happening. YouTube has been making changes to their system, and many people are missing notifications from channels they follow. If you're enjoying the content, click the bell and select all notifications so you don't miss future videos. And if you can leave a like, it really helps me with reach. Seriously, it makes a difference. Oh, tell me in the comments where you're watching from. I'm always curious to know who's on the other side of the screen. Now let's continue, but just as quickly as hope flared, a cloud of worry washed over him. What was Mira doing out here in the dead of night? Her face contorted with anger or grief, he couldn't tell. The surrounding silence felt oppressive, like a panicked breath held too long. Then she turned and started walking away, and a wave of desperation surged through him. Mira! He called out, his own voice startling him. He couldn't let her slip away like just another fleeting moment in his life. But as he rushed out, something tugged at his chest, a gnawing question: was he too late? The oppressive darkness consumed her form as she rounded the corner. What devastating truth awaited him if he failed to uncover her hidden story? Where was she going? With each step he took, the pulse of destiny thrummed in his ears, and he wondered if perhaps, just perhaps, everything was about to change. The night air was biting as Gregory darted outside, the brick path beneath him slick with rain. He called again, Mira. His breath fogged in the cold, but the only response was a distant clap of thunder rumbling ominously in the night sky. The moonlit garden, usually a vibrant splash of colors, felt somber and foreboding as he scanned the shadows, desperate for any glimpse of her. Where could she be going? His heart raced with a mixture of fear and urgency as he cast his gaze toward the street. A figure in the distance caught his attention, silhouetted against the flickering street lamp. It was her. He squinted, pushing past the bramble of thick hedges, his legs heavy with uncertainty. Mira! He shouted again, louder this time, the sound echoing emptily in the night. She stopped, her shoulders tensing as if bracing for something. He took a tentative step forward, feeling the weight of her hesitation draw a taut line between them. Please, wait. The slightest flicker of her gaze met his, a flash of vulnerability before her expression hardened again. She turned away, starting down the cobbled road. Don't. You don't have to go. I just want to understand. His voice cracked, revealing the desperation bursting from his core. Why did he care so much about a girl whose name he had barely whispered? He ran, closing the distance as his mind wrestled with confusion. Their roles had always been defined, he was the master, and she was the maid. But tonight, all those walls felt flimsy, crumbling beneath the weight of unacknowledged emotions. Mira, please. He caught up to her, grabbing her arm gently, aware that any harshness would shatter the fragile moment. She turned abruptly, her dark eyes smoldering with unspoken resolve. "What do you want, Mr. Hawthorne?" The title felt out of place in this intimate confrontation, loaded with the weight of their societal divide. I don't want to lose you. I don't even know why I care, but I do." His chest tightened, the words spilling out like a dam bursting. Deliberation flickered across her face, a struggle between anger and confusion. "You think you can just talk to me after all this time? You feel nothing. You sit in your castle, sipping whiskey, while I know. I know I've been blind." His voice rose, a mixture of passion and fear cutting through the tension. "You're more than just the maid to me. I can see that now, can't you see it?" Mira hesitated, her resolve wavering for the briefest moment, as if the shadows that had enveloped her just a moment ago retreated, if only slightly. Then she regained her composure, pulling away as she clutched her ragged dress. "Just leave me alone." There was a crack in her voice, and his heart sank. "But what happened? Why are you out here? You're soaked. You should be inside, safe." She spat, a bitter edge to her words. "You have no idea what that word means for someone like me. Don't pretend you care." Her rejection cut deep, and he struggled to breathe under the weight of her fury and pain, realizing then he didn't understand her struggle. Not really. As she turned away again, he felt an icy hand grasp at his heart. This was more than just a misunderstanding, it was a rift between two worlds that he had just begun to recognize. "Mira!" He shouted one last time, but she was moving away faster now, swallowed by the darkness. Her form faded, leaving only the echoes of their exchange hanging in the midnight air. Alone with his thoughts, panic tightened its grip around him. What if he had crossed a line he couldn't come back from? What if tonight slipped through his fingers, just like everything else? His mind raced with the future he could no longer see clearly. What had he unleashed? As he stood in the moonlight, breathless and bewildered, a soft sound pulled his attention, a faint sob, drifting like a wisp through the streets. Was it her? What had he missed? Determined, he took a step, ready to unveil the truth hidden beneath the surface. But in the silence that followed, another question loomed large in his mind. Would he even like the answer? The sound curled around him, intimate and haunting. It was a cry filled with sorrow, a stark reminder of pain he hadn't seen until now. Sprinting toward it felt like a pact with the darkness, pulling him deeper into the labyrinth of his turmoil. "Mira!" he called, urgency cracking his voice. He pushed against the cold air that hung thick with unresolved tension. Each step felt heavier than before, like invisible chains tried to pull him back. The cobbled street took on a life of its own, twisting and turning underfoot as if it were a living creature. The shadows swirled, dark and malicious, and he realized how ill-equipped he was for this chase, not just physically but emotionally. How could he possibly grasp the depths of her struggle when he had so little understanding of his own? Then he saw her. She was hunched over beside the old stone well that loomed like a ghost, a half-formed specter beneath the shadows. Her shoulders trembled, and even from a distance, he could see the streaks of water on her cheeks, whether from the rain or tears, he couldn't tell. "Mira, please, can we talk?" A knot twisted in his throat. He could feel the weight of his family's expectations bearing down on his chest, suffocating but futile against the growing desperation inside him. She looked up, her eyes shimmering in the muted light, and for a brief moment, it felt like the world around them ceased to exist. "What is there to say?" she managed to choke out, her voice hoarse and crackling, the strength fading from her words like embers in a dying fire. "Everything," he whispered, feeling his own heart thumping wildly, matching the rhythm of the storm brewing above them. "I need to understand why you're in so much pain. Why you feel like you have to run." "Run." Her laugh sounded raw and jagged, a brittle laugh that sliced through the heavy silence. "You think I'm running from you? From this place?" "No, Gregory, I'm running from the truth. The truth of what we are." His heart sank as certainty washed over him. The truth: he was a privileged man with everything, and she was a girl whose shoes were worn thin. This divide he had always ignored was now threatening to swallow them both whole. "You mean," he started, a thought half formed, the reality of their situation crashing down like the tempest above. "You think this can't be real?" "Real?" she hissed, anger igniting in her voice. "What is real?" "Your world, where I'm just a maid. Where everything is neat and controlled, while I'm trapped in a storm I can't escape. Mira, I don't want to be that man. I want to understand you. I want." He stopped as the wind gusted, sending a shiver down his spine. Her face lit by the moon's glow sharpened, an electric charge filling the air between them. "What you want doesn't matter." "It's too late," she snapped, her hands closing into fists, betrayal and heartbreak glimmering in her eyes. "You should have seen me before tonight. You've always been unable to see, Gregory, and that's not going to change." "Then let me try." He stepped closer, heart pounding in his chest. "Don't shut me out. I'm here, I want to learn." He was begging now, vulnerable. But inside, he felt the truth gnaw at him. If she did open up, would he even understand? Was he ready for the truth behind her sorrow? Suddenly, she took a step back, shaking her head as if trying to rid herself of his words. "You have no idea what it means to face everything I have. I can't let you into my world, it's too dangerous." The shadow swirled menacingly, and for a moment, the night felt pregnant with possibilities, each one darker than the last. His breath quickened, tangled in the weight of her fears and the specter of what lay ahead. But what if embracing that danger was the only way to truly know her? Each question hammered in his mind, chipping at the barriers around his heart. "Wait!" he called out as she turned, as if to escape yet another harsh reality. But then she paused, looking back at him. "Why fight for what you will never have?" she asked, pain laced through every syllable. Just as he opened his mouth to respond, another clap of thunder shook the air, and through the momentary silence that followed, her silhouette flickered before him. One last chance. Would she let him in, or would they remain trapped in the worlds they had built? With that uncertainty hanging thick like the pregnant storm above, Gregory felt time itself stretch, poised on the edge of a truth he was afraid to face. What lay beyond that threshold? Would she allow him to break down the walls, or was the truth more terrifying than he ever imagined? Gregory's heart raced, the tension coiling tighter with each breath. The storm held its breath too, the air heavy with anticipation. He stood on the brink, desperation clawing at him. "Mira," he said again, his voice trembling. "I can't pretend anymore. I want to help you. Can't you see that?" But she only shook her head, the shadows dancing across her face, obscuring the flicker of hope he wished to ignite. "You think you can help me?" She scoffed, but bitterness laced her voice. "You think that's all it takes? Wanting to help?" "Yes," he countered, hands trembling at his sides. Each word felt like a lifeline thrown, desperate and frayed. "Tell me what you need. Tell me how to reach you." She hesitated, the storm inside her raging. Her facade cracked, revealing the depths of sorrow hidden beneath. "You don't understand, Gregory. The past chases me. I can't escape it. Then fight it with me." "You don't have to be alone," he pleaded, stepping closer, now just inches apart, the space between them electric with possibility. "Mira," he urged, seeing the conflict flicker in her eyes. "You're not alone. You stop." She shouted, the sharpness of her voice slicing through the tension. "You don't know what you're asking. You don't know what I've done, what I've lost. It's not just the past, it's the mistakes that haunt me." She paused, the weight of her unspoken words hanging like lead between them. "Go home," she whispered, her voice cracking under the pressure. "Please, just go." "No," he said, anger bubbling up. He had never felt such a strong desire to break through the walls she had built. "This isn't fair, Mira. You're pushing me away because you're scared." But I'm scarier than anything you've faced. Let me in. I will fight back all those ghosts if you let me. The wind howled, pushing against them like an unseen force. Mira's eyes narrowed, flaring with defiance. You think it's easy to let someone in? To trust? Every time I've opened up, it's been a mistake. Then break the cycle. Gregory exclaimed, his own frustration flaring. Don't you see we're both trapped? We're both hiding from truths. But together don't. She shouted again, her hands flying to her head in anguish. You don't understand what you're asking. If I let you in, I sink deeper. Everything I've done to survive it'll darken your world too. I don't want to drag you under with me. His breath caught, realization dawning. The weight of her past was a tempest that could obliterate his carefully constructed life. But he couldn't just walk away, not when he felt this connection, the flickering flame that ignited somewhere deep within him. Your shadows don't scare me, he asserted, stepping forward again, more resolved this time. I want to face them with you. Alone, you might drown, but together, we can find the light. Her gaze softened for a moment, vulnerability flickering across her features. For the briefest second, he thought he saw a crack in her armor. But then, it was gone, replaced by a guarded look that chilled him to the core. I can't. I want to let you down that path. Not my path, Gregory. You deserve better. Thunder rumbled ominously, and as it echoed across the night sky, the ground seemed to tremble beneath their feet. Mira, wait. He reached for her, but she moved away, the distance growing like a chasm between them. I'm not the girl you think I am. I'm not worth the fight. Don't say that. He implored, desperation flooding his voice. Your worth is not for me to decide. But please, don't shut me out when I'm finally willing to hear you. Mira, but the ground shook violently, disrupting their fragile moment. Suddenly, from behind the well, a shadow erupted into the light, a figure, dark and threatening, lurking at the edges of this delicate encounter. Mira, the figure called, a menacing growl woven into the words. Gregory's pulse raced as he recognized the danger radiating from him. What have you done? Myra's voice cracked, a mixture of fear and guilt hitting her as panic coursed through her veins. Gregory stepped between her and the figure, adrenaline surging. Stay behind me. But before he could formulate a plan, the figure advanced, revealing an ominous smile. Looks like we've found each other after all. And you're not going to like what I'm about to reveal. With that, the world spiraled out of control, and nothing would ever be the same again. What unspoken truth had Mira been running from? What darkness loomed behind them now? Myra's breath hitched as the figure stepped into the pale light, every step he took sending ripples of dread coursing through her. The smile twisted on his lips, like a snake waiting to strike. Gregory could feel the tension crackling in the air, it was as if the wind itself held its breath. Mira, he said again, his voice steady, despite the unrelenting fear clawing at his insides. Do you know him? She took a tentative step back, her eyes wide, shimmering like glass. No, I mean yes. But not like this. Panic surged in her voice, raw and unrestrained. Not like this. The man chuckled, his tone sickeningly smooth. Oh, I assure you, I'm exactly as you remember. He paused, letting the words hang heavy in the air. I came to collect a debt. Gregory felt the weight of those words, debt. What kind of debt could tie Mira to this menace? He didn't know if he was more scared for her or the truth that lurked beneath. He could feel the world tilting on its axis, and all he could do was stand and fight. Stay behind me. He repeated, bracing himself. The resolve in his chest ignited like kindling. This man was a threat, and he'd do anything to protect Mira, no matter how deep the shadows clawed at her past. Gregory, you don't know what he is capable of. Mira's voice was a mix of urgency and despair, her eyes locked on the approaching figure. Maybe you should tell me. He shot back, frustration bubbling to the surface. You're not the only one caught in this. If we're going to face him, we need the truth. Whatever it is, we'll face it together. Mira's gaze flickered, torn between fear and an unyielding need to protect him. He doesn't just want information. He wants vengeance, she whispered, panic threading through her voice like a live wire. Vengeance? Gregory echoed, his heart racing. What did you do to him? The figure stopped, a sinister grin stretching across his face. Oh, I know all about her little secrets. A past that could turn your blood cold, my dear Gregory. Mira shook her head, tears welling up in her eyes, rage and sorrow mixing. You don't understand. I did what I had to survive. You don't know what it was like. The laughter from the man cut through her, sharp and mocking. We will see about that. With a sudden movement, he lunged, and Gregory barely had time to react. He thrust himself forward, shoving Mira behind him as the figure reached out, fingers curling like claws. Enough! Gregory roared, adrenaline pumping through his veins. He had crossed lines that shouldn't be crossed, and he wouldn't back down now. The confrontation was here, raw and electric. Childish bravery. The figure hissed, eyes narrowing. You think you can save her? You think you can sweep in and play the knight? You have no clue what you're stepping into. Just then, the clouds parted, and a flash of lightning illuminated the figure's face. In that fleeting moment of light, Gregory saw something dark flickering in the man's eyes, a pain that resonated deeply. For just a heartbeat, he wondered if there was more to this story, something that transcended simple blame and hate, but there was no time for doubt. The man surged forward once more, unleashing a primal growl that echoed through the night. Gregory braced himself, knowing that every moment counted. Mira! He shouted, feeling the weight of the world shifting. You have to trust me. Whatever you did, I'm here now. We can find a way through this together. As the figure closed the distance, their fates entwined in a cycle of shadow and light, Mira screamed, a sound that pierced through all their fear. In that moment, clarity struck Gregory with a force he had never known. What is the truth? He breathed out, battling against time and chaos. Tell me now before it's too late. But as Mira's face twisted in anguish, her answer was swallowed by the thunder, and the night took another sinister turn. What secrets had she carried that could ignite such fury? What choices had bound them to this malevolent force? Gregory lunged forward, adrenaline surging, a desperate instinct to shield Mira. But the figure was faster. He had perfected the art of hunting in darkness. With a swift motion, his arm arced outward, catching Gregory off balance. The impact slammed Gregory against the ground, the breath knocked from his lungs. Mira! He gasped, his mind racing, scrambling to regain his feet. The thunder continued to roar in the distance, a furious backdrop to their confrontation. The figure, relentless and hungry, turned his attention back to Mira. You think he can save you? He smirked, advancing with a predatory grace, each step laden with malice. You think your secrets are worth saving? Mira stood paralyzed, her eyes glassy with an emotion almost too powerful to contain. You don't have to do this. Her voice trembled, barely a whisper, but it cut through the storm. I'll come with you. Just let him go. But that's where you're wrong, the man crooned, his gaze flicking over Gregory with contempt. He's already too entangled in your web of lies. Gregory finally regained his footing, heart hammering in his chest. Stop. You don't have to be this way. He shouted, every ounce of courage pouring from him. Mira is more than her past. She's trying to make things right. The figure laughed, a sound that sent shivers down Gregory's spine, filling the air with cold amusement. Make things right? Oh, how quaint. You have no idea what you're saying. He shifted, eyes narrowing as he focused on Gregory. You think your feeble attempt at heroism means anything in the face of true vengeance? Gregory's hands clenched into fists. Then tell me. What do you want from her? What has she done? The figure paused, something flickering in his gaze, a shadow of doubt. You want the truth. The truth hurts, boy. She betrayed someone who trusted her, someone who believed in her, he hissed, his tone sharp enough to slice through the storm. Mira gasped, her face pale, a ghostly reminder of her turmoil. It's not what you think. I had to. He interrupted, his voice rising in fury. You didn't have to betray him. You could have chosen differently. The air felt electric with tension, as if the storm itself was holding its breath, waiting for the inevitable clash of truths and consequences. Gregory sensed the walls closing in, the stakes rising higher. With Mira caught in her past and this man's vengeance, he needed a plan, one that wouldn't end in tragedy. Mira, please. Gregory called out, his heart racing. If you need to share your secrets, do it now. We can fight this together. But just as she opened her mouth, ready to confide in him, the howl of wind drowned her out. That same wind seemed to carry with it the weight of their pasts, spiraling around them like a fierce storm demanding attention. The figure's face hardened, nostrils flaring. Enough. Your time is running out, and so is your chance for redemption. His voice cracked like a whip in the air, sending tremors through Gregory's resolve. Unfazed, Gregory took a step forward, determination fueling him. Let us end this tonight. Whatever debt she owes you, let us settle it together. Face to face. Man to man. The figure hesitated, his eyes glinting as if contemplating this fresh challenge. You think you can stand against me? You truly believe that you can shield her from the past she so desperately wants to forget? A charged silence filled the space between them, thick with impending conflict. Gregory felt the tension in the air like static electricity, but even as he prepared for whatever came next, a part of him wondered if he was hopelessly outmatched. Mira's voice wavered, Gregory, don't. But before she could finish, the silhouette surged forward, ready to dismantle the fragile barrier that stood between them. Gregory's pulse thundered, each beat synchronizing with the chaos unraveling around him. The storm raged on, but it became clear, the turbulent winds around them were nothing compared to the tempest brewing within. What truths would break free in the midst of their confrontation? And would they be strong enough to face the devastating repercussions? Gregory braced himself, adrenaline coursing through his veins. The silhouette loomed larger, fury etched across his face. Whether it was the storm or the man before him, chaos wrapped around him, thick and oppressive. As the figure lunged, Gregory's instincts kicked in. He twisted sideways, narrowly dodging the strike aimed at him. But there was no time to celebrate his reflexes. The man whirled, a force of nature, and thrust his arm out again, this time connecting with Gregory's shoulder. Pain sparked through him, but he bit back a cry, refusing to show weakness. Mira! He shouted again, desperate for her to act, to do something, anything. But she still stood frozen, the turmoil in her eyes like a storm itself. The figure's presence encroached upon her like a shadow, absorbing the light. Do you hear him? He sneered, laughter ringing through the storm, mocking their helplessness. Even now, he tries to save a coward. A traitor. Stop it. Myra's voice finally cut through, sharper than the wind. You think I'm a coward? You think betrayal is all I am? Gregory's heart raced as she stepped closer to the figure, bravery igniting within her. You've come for revenge, but you won't find satisfaction in punishing an innocent. I didn't betray you, I had no choice. The figure's snide smile faded, replaced by sudden fury. Innocent? You have no idea what you've lost in your selfishness. The past holds its own kind of power and it craves reckoning. Gregory clenched his fists tighter. He couldn't let Mira face this alone, not now, not ever. What do you want? What is going to satisfy you? He took a steadying breath, focusing every ounce of his strength into his voice. This isn't about what you think it is. This is about you. Your pain, your obsession with vengeance. We're not the enemies. "Oh, but you are!" he screamed, his voice cutting through the wind. "You've stood in the way of what is right. She chose her path, and now I will ensure she pays the price." Gregory shook his head. "You don't know the first thing about her." Suddenly, the figure lunged again, aiming to strike Gregory square in the chest. The force knocked him backward, stumbling. He rolled to the side and sprang back to his feet, but the figure was quick to regain his balance, eyes fierce and unyielding. Mira's scream pierced the chaos as she dashed forward. "Stop! Can't you see this is hurting us both?" In that moment of chaos, the storm howled louder, echoing their internal struggle. Gregory's mind raced. Could he turn the tide? Could he bring them both back from this brink? "Enough!" Gregory shouted, his voice slicing through the wind. "If you really want retribution, then face us. Let the truth come out in the light. We'll confront whatever it is together." The figure paused, uncertainty flickering in his eyes for just a moment. Was it fear? Or confusion? Gregory pressed on, his heart pounding. "Whatever your truth is, bring it. But I won't let you harm any more innocent lives in the name of your past." The figure's face contorted in rage, and with a roar that shook the ground beneath them, he ignited a fury that sent ripples through the storm. Gregory prepared to defend, knowing the stakes had never been higher. Everything hinged on this moment that as lightning streaked across the sky, illuminating their faces. A chilling realization dawned: in this confrontation, unraveling deeper truths could either bind them all together or tear them apart completely. A sudden iridescent flash lit up the horizon, startling them, revealing a hidden figure in the distance, someone who could change everything. Who was it, and what did they know about the past? "Gregory! Look!" Mira's cry echoed with panic and an inexplicable sense of urgency, as the figure lurked just beyond their grasp, poised to reveal secrets buried too long. But would the revelation bring salvation or even more chaos? Thunder cracked like a whip, snapping Gregory back to the moment. He needed to act, yet his body felt sluggish, ensnared in the chaos swirling around him. Mira's expression danced between courage and fear, her resolve slowly unwrapping the dark threads of their fate. Who are you?" Gregory stammered, shifting his focus to the figure emerging from the outskirts of the storm. The air thickened with tension, vibrating with the promise of revelations. The figure stepped into the lightning's blaze, revealing a woman, drenched and defiant. Her hair whipped wildly about her face as the wind howled, and something about her presence radiated an allure tinged with danger. A flicker of recognition tugged at Gregory, but his heart raced not just in fear but also in curiosity. "You've waited long enough," she said, her voice steady despite the turmoil around them. "I hold the truth. You think this is just about betrayal, but there's more." She looked from Gregory to the furious man, her gaze calm yet piercing. "Enough games." The figure snarled, clearly agitated by the woman's sudden appearance. "Your truth means nothing. They've forged their fates." Mira took a step towards the newcomer, the intensity of the storm reflected in her eyes. "If you have something to say, then speak. We deserve to know the truth, all of us." The woman took a deep breath, as if summoning strength. "I am forgotten history. I'm the reason for your pain, the unspoken link in the chain of scars you carry. I've lived among shadows, and I'm here to illuminate the past." "You think you walk alone in this storm?" The voice of the furious figure broke in, thunderous and dripping with bitterness. "She lies. This is all she knows how to do. Twist words to weaken you. You have to decide, Mira." Gregory felt his chest tighten. The stakes had escalated. Each word hurled between them felt like a bolt of lightning, igniting memories and darkness. "Wait!" he barked, panic slicing through him. "What do you know about us? About her?" "My knowledge is not the question here," the woman replied sharply, eyes unwavering. "What you choose to do with the truth now, that is everything." The storm roared, and understanding gripped Gregory like a vice. The rage of the figure intensified, swirling around them in an electric vortex. You want to know the truth? Then face the flames of what you've hidden. I will crush the remnants of your past. He lunged forward, teeth bared, fueled by an intoxicating mixture of vengeance and rage. Mira screamed, but Gregory reacted before he could fully process the urgency. He moved between her and the oncoming attacker, heart hammering like a drum, preparing for the impending clash. Stop! He shouted, grounding himself in the chaos. We can fight together, but only if we bring the truth to light. We can't hide from it anymore. The air hung as heavy as a lead weight, uncertainty casting its dark cloud over them. The woman watched them, an anchor amid the storm, yet Gregory felt the lightning was ready to strike again at any moment. He wasn't just defending Mira, he was fighting for the clarity they so desperately needed. With every heartbeat, fear pulsed through him, whispering dark questions. Would the truth save them, or would it unravel the fragile threads of their lives? Suddenly, the woman stepped forward with unexpected urgency. You need to trust me. I can show you your past before everything spiraled into vengeance. Gregory's eyes met Mira's, a moment suspended in time. What would they discover if they surrendered to the truth? But what are the repercussions of unlocking such volatile memories? As they braced for the revelation, rain began to pour heavier than ever, drenching them in sorrow. Shadows loomed large. Tell us what we need to hear, Gregory urged, sensing the precipice they teetered on. Then, the figure charged, a heart filled with rage and purpose, ready to force Gregory to confront the storm's eye. Would they find unity, or succumb to the tempest surrounding them? The truth awaited, and so did danger. And in that electric moment, everything was about to change. Would they step into the darkness together, or retreat into the suffocating fog of their fears? The figure surged forward, slicing through the downpour as fury propelled him. Gregory felt the cold kiss of fear against his skin. Lightning illuminated the man's face, twisted into an expression that could shatter stone. Move! Mira shouted, yanking Gregory to the side just as a fist swung past them, narrowly missing his jaw. The force resonated through the air, a tangible reminder of the chaos straining at their seams. Gregory stumbled, regaining his footing as he locked eyes with the woman who had stepped into this storm. What do we do? He gasped. Stand firm. She commanded, boldness flickering like the lightning overhead. You must embrace the truth. It's the only weapon against him. But how could he, when the weight of unknown horrors crashed down? As he weighed the choice of daring to unearth the truth against the peril of the furious man, a surge of anger sparked in him. He couldn't let this rage destroy everything anymore. Mira clenched her fists, resolve hardening. What if he's right? She breathed, tearing her gaze away from the figure poised to strike. What if unveiling the past only shatters us more? No. We can't think like that. Gregory shouted, feeling his heart pound against its cage. He staggered towards the furious man, desperately hoping to divert the storm brewing within him. You don't have to do this. Let us talk. Why should I waste breath on the likes of you? The man's voice boomed like thunder, drowning out the rhythmic pounding of rain. With a primal roar, he lunged again, a force of nature intent on destruction. Instinct kicked in. Gregory stepped aside and twisted, landing a blow of his own. It barely registered, a mere glimmer of hope against the storm of agony surging around them. Enough! The woman cried, her voice slicing through the tension. You don't realize what you're fighting for. The battle is not here, it's in the truth, in the shadows. With each strike, Gregory felt the wind shifting, the air swelling like a balloon bloated with secrets. The man staggered back, confusion marred by rage. What would you know of shadows? What do you think you've kept hidden? The storm raged above, drenching them in chilling droplets, each one throbbing with a weight he couldn't ignore. Gregory looked at Mira, she was shifting, looking as if she might collapse under the burden of unleashed truths. Together, he murmured, a desperate plea lacing his breath. We can face this. We're stronger than our past. The woman, still a beacon in the madness, locked onto Gregory's gaze. It's now or never. If you wish to know who you are, you must confront who you've been. Stop. The figure snapped, eyes swirling with pain and fury. You speak as if it's all so easy. What could possibly give you the right to tell me about my scars? There's nothing easy about it. Gregory shouted. But we can find closure. If we don't, we're doomed to keep circling this storm, hurting each other endlessly. As if struck by a bolt of realization, silence enveloped them momentarily, heavy and suffocating. It felt like a fragile truce hung between punches, breath stilled in the periphery of chaos. Mira took a step closer to the woman, anxiety eclipsing her features. What do we need to face? The woman's eyes glimmered with intensity. You need to let down your guards. You can't win this battle for truth without acknowledging the pain that fuels it. Just then, thunder erupted overhead, a sharp, dissonant note, shaking them to the core. Gregory's heart raced. Was he ready to unleash everything? Everything they had hidden. In that charged moment, the choice loomed before them. Would they dig deep into their buried pasts, or let the storm consume them, claiming their souls? The woman gave a slight nod as if urging them to take the leap, but Gregory could feel it, the freezing grip of fear threatening to pull him under. He was standing on the edge, but it would take a leap of faith to embrace the truth. Now, he whispered, trembling as he spoke the words. Let us face it together or everything we know will be lost. In that heartbeat, the tension swelled like a wave ready to crest, and Gregory understood the storm wasn't just outside. It raged deep within them. And as the lightning rent the sky once more, revealing the unseen, only one question loomed: were they truly ready to confront it all? The storm raged around them, but for Gregory and Mira, time felt like it had stopped, a palpable tension hanging in the air. The truth beckoned on the horizon, ominous yet necessary to confront. The figure's furious expression faltered for just a heartbeat, uncertainty creeping into his fierce demeanor. Beneath open skies, the weight of secrets heavy with pain demanded to be released. Let us end this, Mira said, stepping closer to Gregory. Her voice, steady yet trembling, rang with resolve. Each heartbeat echoed the urgency in her soul. Whatever has happened, it's time to face it. Together, Gregory affirmed, eyes locked onto hers, a plan forming in their unspoken connection. We might hold the power to rewrite this destiny. The mysterious woman nodded, her presence a guide through the tempest. Align your hearts to the truth. It's not easy, but it's the only way to break free from the bonds of your past. The figure snarled, rage boiling just beneath the surface. You think you can simply wish the past away? You think truth holds power over vengeance? You're wrong. I don't think, Gregory replied firmly, drawing confidence from the warmth radiating from Mira. I know. It's our only weapon. With a sudden surge of energy, the figure lunged forward, a ferocity unleashed. But Gregory pivoted to shield Mira, feelings of protectiveness igniting deep within him. Step back. He shouted at Mira, but she caught his arm, pulling him closer. I'm done hiding. Her voice rebounded against the howls of the storm. And you can't scare me anymore. Do what you must, but you'll never extinguish who I am. The anger intensified in the figure's eyes, shrouded in the weight of his own history. You dare to defy me? His voice dripped bitterly as the fury in him clashed against Mira's resolve. The woman stepped forward, her eyes piercing through the storm. You've carried this vengeance too long. It's time for healing, not further destruction. You all are bound by darkness, but it doesn't have to claim you. Enough. The figure bellowed, lunging again. Wind and shadow twisted around him, but Gregory felt something stronger building inside, a fierce defiance, ignited by the emotion pooling between him and Mira. As the clash erupted, a cacophony of sounds, Gregory found strength in the bond they had forged. Together, they wouldn't just confront the storm, they would confront the heart of it. Gregory's hand clasped tightly around Mira's, whatever happens, we face it together, as one. The woman summoned forth a shimmer of light from within, casting an aura of brave illumination through the chaos. The reckoning comes from within the shadows. Trust yourselves. The figure hesitated again, frustration visible as he fought against the currents of revelation wrestling in his heart. You'll never make me doubt what I've suffered. But Gregory's voice rung true, an unyielding spear pitched toward the figure's fear. It's not doubt. It's a choice to rise above the past. To heal, rather than hurt. With that conviction, both Gregory and Mira surged forward, hearts beating in harmony as the storm intensified around them. Lightning crackled and clashed, illuminating their resolve. Just as the figure charged, they pressed together, hands clasped, invoking every ounce of courage to unveil the truth that bound them. The energy pulsed, a force neither of them expected as they gathered the fragments of their lives once hidden. Words flowed from their lips, echoing through the tempest, unraveling the tangled fates that intertwined them. Forgive me for the hurt, Mira spoke, the air crackling with vulnerability. I was lost. I want to make it right. With every word, the storm seemed to buckle and bend, a sign of something big shifting. Gregory added his truth, I've wasted time in fear, neglecting what truly matters. The past cannot define us if we refuse to let it. As the words washed over the figure, something sparked deep within. Layers of pain crippled his fury as he staggered back, his fight faltering. You truly wish to change? The mask of vengeance faltered, revealing a shrouded heart desperate for understanding. Yes, Mira said, tears glistening in her eyes. But it takes strength to confront what haunts all of us. Thunder rolled as doubt ebbed away in the light of their shared resolve. The figure faltered, shifting his weight as vulnerability poured in through the cracks. I've been lost in darkness, too, he admitted finally, his posture softening. But it's easier to lash out than to confront my own failures. With that confession, the storm began to calm. The air felt lighter, and for the first time, hope pierced through the haze surrounding them. The woman nodded, gently urging them forward. This is the moment of transformation. Release the past and allow yourselves to heal. As their hands gripped tighter, light seemed to crack the storm clouds overhead. Together, drawn by the bond they forged through the fire of confrontation, they quelled the darkness that sought to consume them. The figure took a deep breath, eyes glistening with unspoken sorrow. Then I'll fight not as an enemy, but alongside you. Mira smiled through her tears, feeling the heaviness beginning to lift. Together, we can redefine our futures. No more running. In that instant, they formed a fragile yet powerful alliance, stepping forward into the light revealed beyond the shadows. The storm continued to dissipate, and with their journey ahead uncertain still, one thing was clear, they would face whatever came next together. In the clarity of dawn, the past loomed behind them, but the jagged edges softened by newfound hope ignited possibilities yet unseen. As the sun began to rise, illuminating their path forward, a shared laughter broke through the silence. Let this be a day of healing, Gregory whispered, his hands still wrapped around Mira's. Of rewriting our stories. With warmth spreading through them, they turned to face whatever awaited, hearts ready to embrace the light that finally breathed hope into their struggles. As they vanished into the morning haze, their whispers of promise lingered in the air, a testament to the power of truth and the bonds forged in darkness. Now, it's your turn. Subscribe immediately to our channel. Don't wait even one more second to share this journey with your friends. Smash that like button now to help us spread these stories that matter. Flood the comments section with your reactions and theories about this emotional conclusion. You need to be part of this community that values connection and truth. Share this video with at least 5 friends who need to see this conclusion. Remember, only true fans understand the importance of supporting the channel through these actions.